Thank you. It's great to see all of you here today. This was a big victory for us on the road at Lake Charles. Very proud of the way that the guys played. It was total offense, defense, and special teams victory. You know, it's great to be able to go on the road and to beat McNeese, with their tradition and all of that. But this is one that, that our guys had, we'd all been kind of pointing towards. Every game's a big game. It's the next game. It's the most important game. But this one is one that, that we kind of had to live with. It left us with a very bitter taste from a year ago. We led those guys. We were up 13 to 7 when the fourth quarter flipped. We put those fingers up, and then the next play, starting the fourth quarter, we made a mistake, and they scooped and scored, and then the game kind of got away from us. And at that point in time, we were an undefeated team in the conference, and that one was one that as coaches that we all had to live with for a year. Our players had to live with for a year, and they heard about about that one a lot. And I know that was one that. During the weeks of preparation and all of that leading up to McNeese, we were ready to play, and very, very proud of the way that our guys played on both sides. Defensively, tremendous effort. Terrence Partee, created a turnover early, which really took some of their momentum. They came out and had some momentum early and was moving the football. Partee got in the backfield, just as he had done 2 weeks prior against Abilene and forced the safety. He did the same thing this week and knocked the ball loose. We were able to get the turnover. We generated some offense. Last year, we had a hard time running the football against these guys. I mean, against McNeese a year ago, I think we rushed for less than 50 yards, which hurts us. Even if we were to have wound up winning that football game, you never want to come out of a football game rushing the football for under 100 yards. So that first series, we didn't score, but I think we proved to ourselves that we could run the football on these guys. We wound up, we had a 4th and 1, had a little miscommunication, and weren't able to punch it in, but then the defense held, and sooner or later we were able to get it down there and had a good lead at the half, 14-0. Still didn't feel comfortable, but then the guys really came out in the second half, and we got 2 touchdowns within the first 5 minutes of the second half to build us a good cushion and to give us a 28-0 lead. And from there, we were able to salt it away. So it was a good team victory. A lot of guys played really, really well. Prince Ane is a senior corner for us who has played mainly a reserve role and a lot on special teams throughout the year. He had to come in, and he wound up playing 65 plays once Tyler Williams went out with the targeting call. And Prince did an outstanding job to be able to shut out McNeese, and our quarterback was throwing the football for over 300 yards a game. Very proud of the way that the secondary held up. Trey Smith didn't have a lot of stats, but he did a great job at the other corner. So very, very pleased with the play of the secondary. Thought the defensive line did a good job of disrupting the quarterback and making him move his feet. Early, Steve said he completed 8 of his first 9 passes. We couldn't get to him. He had a rhythm early. After that first drive, we were able to start getting to him and making him move his feet and reset. And he's not as accurate whenever he's moving around as when he was able to sit back there in the pocket. So we're really pleased with the play of the defensive line. I thought Cardell Best had one of his best games. He had a sack and forced the interception that Jalen Lofton had. Cardell hit his arm, which forced him to release it high, and Jalen was able to break on the football. So Cardell Best played his best game for us on the defensive line. James Pope had his best game for us on the defensive line. So a lot of those guys that had been playing well really made strides this past week, and we need to continue to do that. Lamar, here's Lamar's deal. They're 3-3, riding a 3-game winning streak. They come in as a hot football team. They've got the top running back in the nation. You know, Cade Harrington rushed for 2,000 yards last year, was the conference player of the year. He's up for national player of the year. You know, you can see the film, you see where he gets hurt, and then boom, it cuts off. You don't see him walk off, run off, or anything like that. But my history, and then you read so then yesterday I go, I'm not going to worry about it. He's going to play every snap. You know he is, because that's typically, anytime you see a young man, and you want the guy to be healthy and all of that for his sake, but you need to know what to prepare for, because he's a different breed. That kid is good. He is very, very fast, and very explosive. Looking at the internet and checking the newspaper, stuff like that, just to see. Said he went for an MRI yesterday, and has got a little break of a little fracture of a bone in his foot. So I would imagine he's going to play. The way we're going to treat it is he's going to play, and he's going to be there. He's going to be there every snap. Now, he went out in the first quarter, which you would think that would, they had not been throwing the football for a lot of yards. They'd been turning around and handing it to Cade Harrington. Well, the quarterback threw for 412 yards after Harrington got hurt. So they said, all right, well, you're out. Now we're going to let the Earp kid, who is a great player, they let him start slinging it around, and he wound up throwing for 412 yards. Against Northwestern this past week, they were down. It was, what was it? It was 31. It was 2 touchdowns. It was 31-18. 31-18. 4 minutes to go. Lamar's got the football. They're driving. They wind up fourth and 5. They go for it. You got to. There's only 4 minutes to go. They don't get it. All right, well, 4 minutes. So you think the game's over. All right, they run their defense back out there, and all Northwestern has to do is get a first down, and they win the football game. Well, they hold them 3 and out, use their timeouts, force them to punt. They get it. Well, they take it 80-something yards in 5 plays, and they score with 1:36 left, make it 31-25. They kick an onside kick. They get it. They wound up taking it down, 4th and 16, 6 seconds left. 6-second last play of the football game from the 16-yard line. They throw it up, guy jumps up and catches it, gets a foot in bounds. That ties it 31-31. They run out there and kick the extra point and beat them 32-31. So that gives them their 3rd victory in a row in the Southland Conference. So Lamar is a very good football team. Here's who's beaten Lamar. Houston, not Houston, the one that's ranked. They're in the top 10 in the nation in FBS. Houston beat them. Sam Houston, who's number 2 in the nation, and Coastal Carolina, who's ranked in the top 10. So that's who's beaten them. And since that point in time, they've really gone on a roll and have played really well. So we know that they'll come in with a lot of confidence. They definitely have our guys' attention. We need to prepare for Cade Harrington if he plays. He is a special player. But they've got a great quarterback, and they've got some great receivers. They've got an all-conference defensive tackle that is an outstanding football player. They've got a corner that's already got 6 interceptions on the year. They've got a big, tall corner that is a transfer from the University of Georgia. That's an outstanding player that does a great job of playing the ball in the air. So they've got some talent on both sides of the football. So we'll need to have a great week of preparation and get ready to play a very tough homecoming opponent. But we're excited about the opportunity, and we like where we're at. But we know you're only as good as your last time out, and we're ready to. We need to play well this week in order to have a chance to beat Lamar, and we're looking forward to it.